Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know when you're listening to this, but we're glad you tuned in to check this out. In this episode, Nathan and I get to sit with Jerry Valentin. Jerry is now a retired teacher, but has been a coach, literal coach, for decades upon decades. I think even he might mention this in this episode. He went into the profession of teaching to kind of like feed or pay for his coaching habit. And so we sat with Jerry because he's an incredible man of God and is also a father and has kids that have been engaged in sports. What do we talk about, Nathan?
Yeah, listen, we talk about coaching and how it overlaps with parenting and fatherhood in general. Jerry had a son who he coached successfully through his wrestling career, and we're going to learn a little bit about how to coach your kid, what to do, and more importantly, which I took away from it, what not to do.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a good one. I think it's relevant for all of us, and I hope you enjoy it. So, Jerry, I don't know you. Tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about your upbringing. Where'd you grow up? What was your father relationship like? Did you have a dad? Kind of maybe just start there.
Santa Clara, California. Both parents were hard lives early, and then came to Christ later. Both had previous marriage before me, and then it was a start over. My dad had anyway.
Did they come to Christ before you were born, or did you witness that?
No, okay. No, yeah. My mom had it really rough. She was a cotton picker from Oklahoma, and literally, her family moves to the big town of Biggs.
Oh, wow.
There's Biggs and East Biggs, the Twin Cities. But yes, just a country gal. Had a guy that was just hellish. I heard stories after she died. I didn't feel like I should ask the questions until after she died.
Sure.
I had a brother, older brother, stepbrother, same mom, different dad. Crazy, nuts, example of what not to do, but he was our favorite.
Yeah.
He was like a crazy uncle.
Yeah.
Vietnam, all that. Mom had it rough, but and Dad married a gal, floozy, just tried to save her and save her children, didn't work. Mm-hmm. Then he married another gal and bought the house that I eventually grew up in, and she died of cancer. And so they were both on the rebound, and my dad met my mom. She was going to nursing school, like county nursing school. I don't think she even graduated high school.
Oh, wow.
But she was going to Gridley. She worked at Gridley Hospital.
Huh.
Dad had moved all around because my grandfather followed the gold dredgers back in the day. He built them. So anyway, long story short, Mom got married and they moved to Santa Clara, and that's where I started. And then they became just like wrought iron, strict Southern Baptist. This is how we're going to do it. Mom basically guilted my dad because she went every time the church was open.
Yeah.
And Dad came around. And my grandmother, my dad's mom was just an saint. I mean, she saved a lot of people. But my grandfather was a big-time pagan and just a horrible person. And so I found out later all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as I knew, it was like... Yeah, it was offering, it was do your lesson, it was go to church, it was Sunday, work day on Wednesday, prayer meeting on Wednesday, work day on Saturday. Dad was an usher and just became a illiterate Bible scholar.
Yeah.
I mean, he was he couldn't read very well, really slow, but he forced himself to do it. And he would listen to tape after tape, and use that old term.
Yeah.
We grew up on J. Vernon McGee blasting through the house.
Nathan and I talk about J. Vernon all the time.
Yeah.
He's an Oklahoma guy, right? He's an Oklahoma.
Well, he's country, if nothing else, by way of Pasadena.
Right down where the rubble meets the road, my
He's
friend.
got the best.
He's the best. Yeah, through the Bible, I still listen to that, especially, I don't want to get too far off track.
No,
the thing I love about J. Vernon McGee was like he would always intro like a chapter of the Bible and spend a whole service going through the background and the cultural stuff.
Yeah.
I love J. Vernon McGee,
When
man.
I study to preach, I go to him first because he can just capsulize it so well.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't get off, but he just goes ramrod straight right through it.
Well, yeah, and again, maybe I'm taking it off road, but amazing like radio too, because he doesn't stop. Like he's one person. There's no conversation he's bouncing off.
No
kind
thought.
of reminds me of the Vince Scully too. Vince Scully was great without a co-announcer, co-commentator,
That
and he
would've
could just
ruined it.
go.
He would
And Jay Vernon's in that
And he
same
would
cut
tell
of cloth.
great,
Yeah.
great stories. Like, yeah. So let me ask you this: like, so your dad is going to church a lot, and my upbringing was kind of like that too. I was in church like 3 times a week. My dad was a children's pastor and things like that. Did you see like your dad really like walking out the gospel like with you? Like was he a good father? Was he giving you lots of love? And like was it really translating?
Yeah, and my quote on parenting is caught, not taught.
Yeah.
You know, they're right in front of you. You can't miss the model.
Yeah.
And you can't be a hypocrite and a parent at the same time. It's just impossible. Because
Yeah.
kids will call you out. And so dad walked it. He was he's my hero, superhero, strong. But we butted heads. I mean, often. You know, I hit puberty and it was like on. Quote from Mark Twain. It says, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant, I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years." Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Dad and I just rammed heads, but then I live by his principles.
Yeah.
You know, every day. My wife and I say it often. We quote my dad every day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one of the things, like whenever you talk about your dad, you always talk about him with such affection, and so I'm assuming some parenting principles were also caught from dad. But one of the reasons like we wanted to hang and talk with you is because we know, or I know, Nathan's discovering you're a lifelong coach. Like what do you say about you talk about coaching like you went into teaching to support your coaching addiction. What was it?
Yeah. I taught to support my coaching habit.
Yeah.
It's like they wouldn't let me in without it. And
So you're a coach just by passion and nature and virtue, and you love it. And we can talk about coaching kids, but I was thinking about like even coaching your own kids. Yeah. Nathan and I right now, we're in the thick of baseball season and trying to discover like where are the boundaries either from the stands, coaching our kids, where are the boundaries at home, just on a Saturday when there's nothing to do or before practice or after practice. And I remember you sharing with me a story recently. We were having breakfast maybe some months ago, and you were talking about like a contract you had to make with Caleb. And so I was wondering, like, could you tell us, like, could you share with us maybe a moment, or maybe it's a collection of moments where you feel like you failed as a father coaching your kids, and then what did that transition look like? You know what I'm talking about? Like, is there maybe there's a few more than one moment?
Yeah, I was fired every 2 weeks
from your kids.
From Caleb. Yeah, my girls got off. I mean, I love my girls.
You got 3 kids, just to be clear. Yeah.
Caleb sandwich. Older girl, younger girl. Caleb's in the middle, and they did, my girls did dance and tap and other $1 million worth of gear.
And you weren't coaching them in ballet or anything? Okay, just to be clear.
I let Ann do that and just paid for it.
Yeah.
And so I would support them. So I would bring coaching books to Marissa's basketball game. 15 to 14 just wasn't
keeping your attention.
No.
Yeah.
So anyway, Caleb fired me a lot. So here's the deal on Caleb. We let him play every other sport, and I just prayed every night that he would really suck at all of them except wrestling.
Because of your passion for wrestling. Yeah.
It's like I didn't want to go watch soccer for life. So, we did the lawn chair prisoner thing. You just sit in all kinds of weather and pretend you're interested. And so, we did basketball, we did soccer, we did roller hockey. And so, go ahead. And then 9 years old, he starts wrestling. And now Riot, his son, has already wrestled 5 years, and he just turned 10.
Yeah.
Caleb started at 9.
Yeah.
So we thought we were early on him. So anyway, Caleb was passionate, and he liked it, and he took to it like duck to water, and he started to get good. But the thing about wrestling is the learning curve goes up and backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you suck for a long, long time, and it's painful, and it's expensive. I mean, you have to go to bigger tournaments, which cost money and time. It's a whole weekend, and sometimes you go 0-2.
Yeah.
Our claim to fame is our motto is run to danger. Well, we would drive to danger, find it would kick our butts, and we'd go home broke.
Yeah.
So I knew he was into it, and he was passionate, and obviously I was into it. And you'd try to soft pedal it, and then I'd jump lines, and I'd be like 2 feet out on the mat before he got to the edge of the mat after losing, and already with a list of things that he needed to work on. And what I did is I killed his creativity. I killed his freedom of just going for it and not being afraid to lose.
Yeah.
Just that abandon. And that's later on I found out how valuable that was. And so I researched, I watched film. This is back before internet and everything, but just reading, I'd read Gable books and all these coaches and just deep dive, and we'd have them in. I'd bring them in as clinicians, and I'd just stay up all night talking to these college kids and stuff.
And this is, just to be clear, you were the literal coach of this wrestling squad.
I'm the high school coach.
You weren't just the dad
Caleb,
watching.
Yeah.
You were also the actual coach, yeah.
Yeah, so I was coaching football, obviously, back in your day.
Yeah.
And then what I'd do in my off season, I'd go help the little kids because they were in our wrestling room.
Yeah.
And so I stuck with Caleb the first four years pre-high school, and I just became kind of an assistant, but I was coaching my son. It was and so I took the program over when Caleb was in 8th grade, and so there was a year transition, and so Ann became the coach, and she got to drive him all over the place, and I got basically the high school ready for Caleb to come in.
Yeah.
So that's how it was.
Yeah.
But again, I think the best thing you can do as a coach, plagiarism is the best thing you can do as a coach. And it's the highest compliment too.
Yeah.
So I would ask stupid questions of everybody, good coaches. And I said, what do you do? And that's where Run to Danger came. I had this guy, took him out to breakfast, and I go, so here's what I hear. If we stay here, we die here. He goes, yeah, run to danger. You got to get out of here. And he coined that phrase, and I just went nuts. I go, I'm stealing. I don't know.
So when you say, like, if we stay here, we die here, what is here?
Shasta County.
Shasta County.
So it's a wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. There's no traffic. There's no smog. There's very little crime. And there's no people. So there's no competitiveness. It's not a high level of competition.
Got it.
So if you go to the state, so California is one of the few states that has one division. Oregon has 4. It's a postage stamp, and they have 4 106 champions. Middle, big, small. It's ridiculous. But California has 900 schools, and they have one division. And so if you're the 106 champ, you're the 106 champ.
So the idea is go to where the competition is. Test yourself, push yourself.
Wonderful places like Fresno, Bakersfield, Gilroy.
The armpits of California.
Just horrible.
Yeah, California's a big state, so you're really traveling too.
Oh, and then there's the money. And so as a coach, I'm spending a lot of. I'm a business owner. I'm making money to spend on gas and hotel, so we can go get our butts kicked in wonderful places. But anyway, so then the pressure starts to build. You're going to higher competition, and he's getting better, and I'm happy, and he's happy, and then we're trying to jump levels, and sometimes that doesn't work. And so, my anxiety would come out and his anxiety would pop up, and I was choking him. I was literally choking him. So the contract, back to your...
Yeah, what was the moment that you realized you were killing his creativity? Like, what was the awakening moment?
He fired me once again, so I had time. And he just says, Dad, I'm afraid to come off the mat. And it was like, jeez.
Because he was afraid to hear what you were going to say.
I mean, when you start gun shy, it's like a hunt dog or a horse or whatever, any animal that, you're nailing.
Yeah.
He's just, that's all he thinks about is I can't lose. And if you go out in wrestling anyways, if you go out not to lose, that's terrible.
Yeah.
You just, and especially him, because he's so skinny and wiry. we used to love it. We couldn't wait for the opponent to look over and laugh at him. Like that was a regular occurrence. And then we knew we got him. We would go to nationals. We would go all over the place, and we go, okay, wait, okay, he's laughing.
Yeah.
We're good. So so I was killing his secret weapon, which was just freedom, and aggressiveness, and he would take chances and flips and dives, and that was his game.
Yeah.
So I prayed a lot, and I sat down. I wrote it out. I said, okay, here's my deal. What do you think of this? I said, I start coaching you again, like you hired me. And our routine is this: I give you a hug, no matter what. You win, you lose, you pin the guy. You don't, you get pinned. I give you a hug, and I don't say anything for a few minutes. And then when the dust settles, I tell you one thing, one thing you can work on. And if you want more, you have to come to me. In between rounds or later on, you have to ask me. Otherwise, I'm not going to force myself on you. It's not going to be 1,000 things. I'm not going to berate you in the middle of the mat coming off. You can be assured that I love you and that I'm with you and that you just go.
Yeah.
You just go do it. Don't because if you think you're dead, it happens all in practice. It's reaction. Like any baseball, whatever. And so that worked. I mean, it just set him free. And I kind of took a side road here. So I would make him highlight films. The old VHS. I had all the machines for football and stuff. So I would make him highlights. And then I would make him low lights. It's like, don't argue with me, buddy. Just watch the tape. And it literally says Caleb low lights, and it's slow motion. And so it's like, I think you need to get your head up in your stance. Oh, no, that's okay. Just watch the film. And he I didn't put him to bed with cartoons. I put him to bed with his own highlights.
Lowlights and highlights,
Or other great wrestlers. And then it was the cool thing is we were doing it together. And so that bonded us. I was a football coach that wanted to be a wrestling coach for my son. And then the whole thing with Mark exit, my best friend gets fired, which was like firing everybody. And I knew God was in it. It was one of those things where I couldn't let it go and God had to rip it from my hand.
This is a lifelong friend that you guys coached with forever in football, and then he was let go.
And then coached together, and it was wrong. It was all political, but you look back and God doesn't make mistakes. It was the best thing that ever happened, because without it, I would have tried to do both and killed myself and my marriage and my family. So I immediately took the leap, and then everything I was doing in football, I was pouring into wrestling. But the cool thing about it is it just knitted Caleb and I together. And our program blew up in success as Caleb blew up. And plus the pressure there, and he learned to take pressure, and that was the cool thing. He could take criticism. He's been in auditoriums where he's getting booed by everybody in the seats. And there's a thing we found. It's a hockey club in L.A. and it's Violent Gentlemen. And I thought, oh, that's great. We're stealing that. So we got a bunch of T-shirts, and then they came out with their slogan. It says, "No one likes us. We don't care." I was like, oh. That's us. And so, when you get that competitive, and Caleb got good fast, and so did I as a coach, and people don't like you when you get good fast. You're okay if you're losing or you're trying and getting noogies. Hey, you're doing good, coach. And then all of a sudden you're beating their guys, and like, they got to find some way to answer that. Like, how does that happen? And so Caleb he's a whirlwind. He's coming through. And so as we jumped levels, we had to really drill down and go back to the contract a lot. And it became a really successful thing, because we went from small to medium to huge. I mean, nationals, Fargo Nationals, Virginia Beach. I mean, these are like week commitments and money and, and you'd come over the hill in the quarters and the semis, and then bam, something would, bad call, or you missed this or whatever. It's the what ifs to death. And you had to let that go, like you just had to cap. I remember sitting in the chair, and when Caleb would start, I would literally go like this in the corner and go, God, please take this. Win, lose, draw, injury, whatever. I know that you love me. And if I hold on to this, it's wrong. I trust you. And I'd hold it back.
So you said you guys had to go back to that contract
Often.
Who was the first to say, hey, contract, don't forget, these were our guidelines or these were our rules? Was it Caleb saying, Dad, dude, you're in my grill, just chill. Where's the hug? Where's the one thing? Or was it you having to say, hey man, this is the boundary, I'm trying not to cross it? Like,
yeah, I would go silent sometimes purposely because I wanted to see if he kept up with his deal. Like he had to come to me.
oh yeah.
So that was advantageous. Like, I'm here.
So did you find that he would come to you with questions?
Yeah.
And you were in those positions. Obviously, you're in a lot better position to give him that advice because he's actually asking for that advice rather than constructive. I'm using air quotes here. Constructive criticism, right?
And you walk away from the tension of the moment because we got the hug in, because we let the fat lady keep score.
Mm-hmm.
We let it settle.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going next on the bracket?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some food,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's you can always find, when you win, it's great, but you don't learn a lot because you're exhilarated. But when you lose, you're detective. What went wrong? And and it's a good thing. It's a healthy thing, but you got to step away from the emotion because you get wore down. It is what it is. You have to accept that we're going to go places that possibly are painful experiences. But guess what? We're going to get up next weekend and do the same thing. And that's what we sold our guys to, because we had to acclimate. We would go to huge tournaments. Sometimes we would go 0-2. And I said, we're running to danger.
Yeah.
We went to Ohio. It's like,
Yeah.
you didn't place. Well, that's Ohio. It's a national 50-state tournament. We're going to go back to California, and we're shrinking the event. We're shrinking the pressure. So you get in that lineup, and you're all of a sudden you're lined up with all your guys, and you start recognizing, I wrestled that guy. I saw that guy. I've been with that guy. I've beat that guy.
Yeah.
And you had to take the dragon out of the story.
Right.
And it's just time on task, like anything else.
How did you deal with, whether this was pre-contract or post-contract, watching your kid who in some form or fashion articulates a desire to be great or to do something really well? How did you like deal with them maybe not putting in the discipline to do that? Like where by experience or just living life or being a lifelong coach, like, dude, it's good that you want to be the best, but why aren't you out jogging? Why aren't you out rolling around? Why aren't you out taking cuts, on the baseball or kicking? Like, how do you deal with that as a parent, as a father that wants the best for the kid without coming across like
forcing them to do it?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I really want this. I really want this. I really want this. And it's like, well, you're not doing the work, right? And so I think what you're trying to say is like, how do you balance that with trying to be a coach and trying to help them, but at the end of the day, like you can't put in the work yourself.
Caught, not taught. Mm-hmm. It comes up again. I'll tell you a story. So Ohio Ironman is it's regarded as the toughest tournament in the nation
for wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we no longer can go there in California. Some rule changes, really, Joe, it's just garbage. But anyway, we did for like 3 or 4 years, and we actually had kids place. So we go there, and I've got my 4 top guys. I said, you have to earn your way there. You've got to, place in sections the year before, and I didn't want any controversy. And, oh, by the way, you get to pay your own ticket.
Yeah.
I didn't want any parents saying you're playing favors. No, they bought a ticket, and they placed the year before. So we put them on a plane, and we went, and the first day, it was horrible. And I called Ann, my wife, and I said, we don't belong here. This was a really dumb idea. And I was like dejected, man. I was like, duh. And so Caleb and another kid, Mikey, they eventually got it. I think they went 1 and 2, and they're gone. And my 2 kids that I didn't think placed made it to the second day.
Oh, wow.
Made it like deep into the bracket and went like 4 and 2.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking like big time schools, academies, right?
Yeah.
But still, when we got done, we got to watch the finals, and it was great. We got to be fans, and I took them to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. We had a snow fight in the parking lot. It's like, it was neat. So on the way back, I'm just licking my wounds, kicking myself on the plane, and all of a sudden this kid comes up, one of the 4 guys, and he says, Coach, and he never talked. Mm-hmm. he just tapped me on my shoulder. He goes, I don't know what you're thinking, Coach. He goes, but this is the greatest idea you've ever had. Because he says, you always talk about next level and you always try to make us see next level. He goes, we saw it.
Yeah.
We felt it.
Yeah.
He says, we understand now.
Yeah.
And so that was mid-season. For the rest of my season, I didn't have to say a word as far as motivation, as far as getting after it in practice, because they saw guys.
They knew the level of competition, and they knew what they were going to have to do to get there.
So, you can talk about working out or whatever, but if you have to have someone over your shoulder, even your own son, if you have to have someone over your shoulder making it, they haven't owned it yet.
Yeah.
I always equate it to riding, you remember you're pushing your kid on the bike and you let go of the seat and he's still like feeling good because he thinks he's still, you got him, and he looks back and you're not on the bike and he's like exhilarated. That's it. Somewhere, somehow, you tip that triangle and you start coming downhill and you got it. It's yours.
Yeah.
And I think the more you can place them in front of people you want them to be, or programs or whatever, we would bring famous people in, and it was amazingly cheap, to do clinics.
Yeah.
I would put them in camps, over their head.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I always put them over their head.
Yeah.
Always make them reach. Nothing happens in mediocrity. You know, and it's tough because that resilience has got to be there. That's why that whole run to danger. It's like, it doesn't say run to victory.
Yeah.
It just says get in danger.
Yeah.
Experience it, enjoy it, start to really love it. Because it's going to make, it's the whole Bible talks about, hard times are great and they build your faith. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true on every level. And the higher the hotter the fire that you can put them into and start getting acclimated to that and just telling them it's okay.
Yeah.
Go get beat up.
Yeah.
Go try. Because I said, you could sit home and be me. I always used to say, you want to go to Bernie on the Acorn tournament and win first place? Maybe you're MVP out of three, two girls and a fat guy. That's not excellence, because when we're going to see excellence when we get down there. Yeah. So anyway.
So that's so interesting because our kids are probably the same age, 11 years old, and they're in Little League. And so they're in this period of time the last couple of years where they're just learning that there's a level of competition that maybe they're not up to and they have to get better. And so they're experiencing failure for the first time. And so I think for my kid, at least, he would probably at this time as an 11-year-old playing Little League, he would prefer to win in an easy league than to lose at a higher level of competition. And it's hard for me as a dad sometimes seeing him struggle, right? Seeing him struggle, seeing him fail, seeing him get upset. He's just learning how to deal with failure and disappointment and things like that. And it hasn't quite clicked for him yet to be okay, and I'm really waiting for it to click or hoping it'll click. If something's got to change, if I want to be better, I've got to get better. It's just not going to happen. And he's got to want that. And, I guess my question is at what age, because right now I'm trying to fix his problems. Okay. You're missing the ball, you're swinging and missing, here's a clinic, here's some YouTube videos. Let's go out and practice. And I'm trying to fix his problems and encourage him. And also at the same time, give him some constructive criticism. At what age do you feel like it really begins to click where the kids start to make their own decisions and maybe really want it for themselves? And as a parent who's also a coach, right? How do I help my kid to, at what point do I let him fail? At what point do I continue to try to just fix his problems for him?
I think there needs to be room in your head as a coach and as a dad, and even your sons, is this isn't everything. We're not going to die here. And I don't know if you guys know much about Penn State, but Cale Sanderson is the most successful coach right now ever. He's beat out Gable, who had 10 national champions. They're just amazing. They're they own it. But when they interview their guys, they always talk about, hey, it's just wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out and have fun. And I'm going to go compete. That's why I'm here. I'm here. I like to compete, and somehow they've brainwashed those cats where they believe that stuff.
Yeah.
And that takes the pressure off. They want to be good, and they're at the highest level, and they're at the best university right now going, and they're beating everybody, but they've taken the catastrophic out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for kids,
How do
especially,
we do that?
Yeah, well, you got to say, hey, do you enjoy this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like baseball. I like being with my buddies. I like chewing gum, chewing seeds. I
Yeah.
like coaching. I like the grass cut, I like having fun. I like the social. There's so much good about sport. I think we overemphasize, because what do we want? We want the experience to enhance our kid.
Right.
I mean, that's cliche, but we want to build our character, but
Right.
you also want to make memories. What better memories than, I can tell, I was a horrible baseball player, and I was a worse ump.
Yeah.
Did it for the cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can tell you some great memories of the baseball park. And
Right.
it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And I think some kids and dads need to come to grip with this. Sometimes your kid's going to grow up to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be a great worker. He's going to be a good dad. He might be a great artist or a mechanic or whatever. I've got 2 grandkids, and one of them's a terror. and the others, I think he's going to be a chef. Yeah. He's my buddy. He's easy to, like when your kids came over, just a plethora of different personalities.
Sure.
And you can't stuff them in a mold. That's where you kill them.
Yeah.
You got to enjoy who they are and allow them to take on life as it is. Now, can you keep putting stuff in front of them, and you keep asking them, you want to get good? I would ask Caleb, do you want this? Because I'm about to sell my trailer to buy a ticket to put you on a plane.
So we can get to where you need to be. Yeah.
I sold all kinds of stuff. I go, do you understand this sacrifice that we're doing? I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Like, if this is okay, if this is valuable, show me by continuing to work. And that was the carrot.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to do this, in return, you have to show me, like, you're going to have to cut weight.
Yeah.
You have to run extra. We started lifting early. I'm going to be with you in the garage at 4:00. Be there.
Yeah.
And if I saw negligence in that, I said, that's fine. I can mow the lawn.
Yeah.
My greatest compliment I ever had was a rival coach, and he came up to me at a tournament one time. He goes, "What's your yard look like?" Because I was never home.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, I get that. I don't know how to. I'm trying to figure out how to build an life experience for my kids so they can properly place these wins and losses in the grand scheme of life. Does that make sense? I remember being at a championship basketball game for a cousin, and it came down to like free throws. And I don't remember where this thought exactly sparked, but I turned to my wife, and this is when our kids were much younger. I'm like, I think we need to get our kids to more third world countries. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is like a game-winning free throw. Like, what's going on? I'm like, I think if we got our kids to more third world countries to serve, to love, to feed, to care for, then I don't think they're going to stress as much on the free throw line, of like a championship game. I think they'll probably get more perspective of like, yeah, I'm going to give it my best. I've put in the work, but I know at the end of the day, life's bigger than this. And I'm trying to figure out we haven't been to a lot of third world countries, but I'm trying to figure out how to help my kids play. Even this week, there was a loss this week in a baseball game. And both my boys playing on the same team right now, and just in the car in tears. And quite honestly, I think it came down to like an umpire issue and time. And I tried to like find I want to let them feel. I think that's important. Yeah. I want to let them cry. I want to let them know, like, I know right now that's the biggest thing in their world. And so, okay, I want them to feel that. But I also was trying to coach them, like trying to find that window of like, hey, we can't let the umpires or the refs determine the game. Like, this game should have been won 2 innings ago. It can't come down to like the last, So I'm trying to find that balance and that peace in how and when to coach your kids and to put things in perspective.
Well, even when like enjoying the game. So I for me on the sidelines, right, I told my wife this the other day, I'm just not enjoying baseball this season. I don't enjoy baseball this season. Like, my youngest kid is in a lower level league, and it's hard for me to watch because I've already watched a higher level of baseball, and to go back down is hard. But for my son, who's in a higher level of league, he's just like struggling, and it's not fun for me. Sure. And it's crazy because I love baseball. I'm sitting out there on a beautiful night. I'm watching baseball. I'm eating sunflower seeds. Like, I'm hanging out. Like, it's cool, but I'm not enjoying it. And my kids also put so much emphasis on the game, and the stakes are so high for them. I know that they're not enjoying it either, which is crazy because they're literally like 9, 10, 11-year-old boys playing Little League baseball. Like, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm just like, I'm trying to get, and for my oldest son, actually, he is starting to maybe care less. You know what I mean? He used to get devastated when he would strike out or have a bad game. Now he kind of shakes it off. And I think part of me is kind of like a little bit like, whoa, you don't care? Like, which is funny because last year I was like, hey, shake it off. Right. So I think maybe he's maturing, and it's good to see. But like, I really like what you say about just trying to like give it perspective, and just remember that it's just like sports. And at the end of the day, it's not really that important. There's more important things to life. And maybe that's where the fathering component comes in. I got a question, actually, if I could just change up a little bit. So you asked your son for advice, come to me for advice if you have anything on wrestling. Did that ever translate to life? Like, does he come to you now? Like, how old is he now? He sounds like he's got some kids of his own. Does he come to you now and, like, ask you, like, fathering questions? How do I father, or how do I do this?
Oh, that's good. Did that open, like a portal for other coaching in his life?
It's a complicated answer. I think we're so close, we finish each other's sentences. Mm-hmm. So going back to that, why I did what I did, why I coached, and why it was so important, that was our common language that brought us together. Win, lose, or die, that kept us together. And then he goes off to college, and I missed that. Mm-hmm. And he had some setbacks in college and didn't finish. And then he went down to L.A. And became the cage fighter, followed that dream, And he got married on the beach. We had a private wedding, and it was fun. And I said, dude, this is going to be the wildest faith journey you've ever been on. Do you understand what you're packing up for? Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, I think so. I mean, they were giving blood to make money. They were eating macaroni and cheese. They were walking to work. Anyway, he did that. But I missed him. I missed him, and I missed us. And so I took a little hiatus away from coaching for a little bit, like 3 or 4 years, but I couldn't stay away from him. So I started jiu-jitsu because he did. And every workout I would call him on the phone and said, here's what I did. What should I have done? And the roles reversed. Yeah. And that was our sticking. That was our glue again. It's like, oh, thank God. And so I would ask him. Then I got to corner him in a couple of his fights. I got to go with him and went to Guam. Yeah. And it was exciting. And anyway, that's been our glue. And then he came back and we coached together at Foothill. And so I'm the head coach. He's the assistant. He's in a room where he started as a 9-year-old. Now he's 35, and we're still in the same thing. And we can recall each other's. And it's funny. We would even bash heads on what technique was correct. And I said, I've been doing this a while. And he would fight back, and that was great. So I don't know. Caleb's really, really stoic. I would like to say yes. He calls me all the time on life advice, but he doesn't. Mm-hmm. He's really confident, and he's really, really stoic, and he has a great relationship with his wife and the Lord. And so I don't know. At times, rarely he does, but not often. Mm-hmm. So
I want to maybe we get you out on these final 2 questions. One is, like, as a coach yourself, this isn't so much about coaching your own kids, but what you've observed from parents coaching their kids because you're a coach, like what you've observed of fathers coaching from the sidelines. Or do you have any, like, do's and don'ts, things you've observed that have, like, crushed kids that you saw parents do that was like, oh man, they're missing it? Or do's that you saw of fathers, the way they approach their children in the sport that you coached their child in, that was like, oh, that's rich?
Yeah, that's huge. I've seen good, bad, and really ugly.
I bet.
I'll give you one example. Kid was a phenom. I mean, just athletically balanced, explosive.
Yeah. This in wrestling or this in
yeah,
football? In wrestling?
yeah.
Yeah.
But he was one of those kids that was whatever he touched, he was like Midas. He could do
Yeah.
instrument. You know, got all the stars on the chart in Sunday school.
Yeah.
And good kid and all this stuff. But he would get into a tight match and he would crumble.
Huh.
He you know, the word grind. He couldn't grind. I mean, if he saw weakness, it was like blood in the water. He was like all over. The kid was dead.
Yeah.
But if it was a 1-2 match, it was a 1-2 match. He'd lose it because he just couldn't grind. And I asked the dad, we're up in the bleachers. I go, hey, has that kid ever failed? And I'll never forget it. It was the longest pause I can recall. He had to run his memory, and he finally says, you know what? He hasn't.
Huh.
He never failed. I said, he is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, he's got to embrace that. You know, like the Marines say, embrace the suck. You got to embrace the suck. You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I suck.
Yeah.
Right now, I suck.
Yeah.
I suck at that technique. I suck going against that type of guy.
Yeah.
And I need to get better. But I've got, you know, it's like an alcoholic. I've got to admit where I'm at
Sure.
before I can get better. Because if I don't, it's just this long, continuous sucking. So that was a big parent.
So like maybe the advice would be like parents
Let them fail.
letting your child fail.
Yeah. And let's call it what it is. It's a failure.
Yeah.
You know, I am Nathan. I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't hit a curveball. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was bad. And then I've seen kids, like I had one this year and I had to kick the dad out of the practice room and he didn't like it. The kid, you just look at him. The first time I met him, I thought, oh my gosh, this kid, every fingernail's gone. You know, he's twitching.
Yeah.
I go, that's an overriding dad right there.
Anxiety.
Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, this kid. And he was terrible. And he continued to be super terrible. But the dad would be in the shadows of our room kind of coaching from afar. And I thought, no, that's not it.
Yeah. Do you think that, this is total, sorry, I'm cutting you off, but do you think that could have been Caleb? Had you not had that awakening or come up with that contract?
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, really. And I've seen it. I've seen coaches' kids crumble because, and I wrote an article on it too, recalling, I said, that's the poster boy. I mean, he's supposed to win. Yeah. He's the coach's kid.
Yeah.
It's like he goes out and goes over. It's like everybody's looking at you, your program, him. Yeah. What's wrong with this picture? That's like triple the pressure.
Right.
I think there's a little pastor's kid, maybe like parallel there.
Oh, yeah. No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Pastor's kids and coach's kids. A lot of pressure there. Any other do's or don'ts that advice you'd give to dads that you've observed just as a coach, watching dads try to coach their kids from the sidelines?
Well, again, the crucible goes both ways. For you guys, it's painful.
Yeah.
Right? It's difficult. You don't run away from difficult things because difficult things cause good things. I think it's okay to come to your kid and go, you know, I don't have any answers for this. I'm struggling with you. Let's go pray, or let's go look. Let's go watch video. You know, I don't have for you. I think that's golden because you're fake if you're not. You're putting up a false pretense of, you know, I just got to be like Dad because he's Superman.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's really a weak dude that has a great God. And I think that overrides everything. And I think baseball, wrestling, math class, I mean, all of it is to make us deplete and reach out for more. Yeah. You know, God doesn't fill full people, you know, so I think, like I said, hard things are good.
Yeah. Maybe this is overstating the obvious, but just in case any of the things that you've just taught us hasn't been caught, what would be advice? Maybe if you were going to go back and coach yourself before Caleb was born or before Caleb got on the mat or put on whatever sport equipment, what would be your advice to a father who wants to coach their kid, like what would be the advice that you would give them, the proverb or the scripture? What would it be that you would encourage either yourself in or us in this area of coaching kids?
As coaches, you become info junkies.
Yeah.
I think that also needs to be taught and caught by your kid.
Right.
Like you're admitting you don't know everything. You're going to go plagiarize the best coaches you can get.
Right.
I stole everything. I mean, uniforms or eating or diet or travel. Like I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
And I would tell my team that. I go, I got that from that team. I got that from that team. And I'm my head's on a swivel. I forget what one of our coaches said. He calls it ear hustling. He goes, I always get as close as I can to good coaches, and I just ear hustle.
Yeah.
I'm just recording in my brain. So it's for free.
Yeah, but that's a good life lesson too for like just in general. Like, how do I get better at being a good Christian, right?
Yeah.
Or even anything like that. Like we read books all the time about good Christians and study their lives and hang out with them. And
that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of this endeavor. This is an ear hustle. Yeah. All this is like, let me sit with you and let me steal some stuff that's going to work and that could apply. Yeah, I think that's all. I'm quick to tell my kids, like, I have no clue what I'm doing.
As an athlete, I didn't handle this until like my sophomore year in college.
Okay.
I was a nervous wreck. Pop Warner, 5 years, high school 4 years, college 4 years. About my sophomore year, I stuff hit the fan. Mm-hmm. I just said, I can't do this. This is garbage. Mm-hmm. I work for the God of the universe. Why am I so weak-minded?
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where I had to get a sense of abandonment, where all works for the good of those who serve the Lord and are called according to his purpose. What does that mean? And my dad would always emphasize all of it, good, bad, ugly. And you can't, I was such a control freak as a kid and as a coach. I mean, as a coach, penalties, weather, and injuries just drove me insane. Yeah. What do you mean you can't play?
You can't control those elements. Yeah.
Just like, so the sense of abandonment, if you could put that in the heart of your kid, that's when they become a killer because they don't care. Mm-hmm. They have to get beyond that sense of caring. Get away from the winning and losing or looking good or beating Johnny on the batting average. That's all garbage. You got, number one, enjoy what you're doing. If not, go find another. I tell my kids, wrestling's a horrible hobby.
Yeah.
Really, if you're here just for, no. But if you want to do good and you're dedicated, that's great. But if you really want to be good, you got to set yourself free. At the bat, I'm a terrible baseball guy, but it's like boxing. You can't be tight and swing a bat, right? Yeah. So like that's just that in itself is the mentality of I got to let it go.
Yeah.
I can't 3-step this. Ball, bat hits the ball. Boom.
Yeah.
Right? All the
see-ball, hit ball.
See-ball, hit ball, yeah.
Yeah. All the pre-thinking's already done. So if you're methodically thinking through it, you're already toast.
Yeah.
So somewhere it's a magic potion. If you can walk through that normalcy of nervousness and worried about the outcome, that's the biggest thing. Outcome is not your problem. I heard a story once that coach was saying, hey, pull up your socks. And the guy would pull up his socks, and some coach go, why did you ask him to pull up his socks? He goes, because he's nervous and he can control that. Mm-hmm. That's it. We're working on controllables. Mm-hmm. Control the controllables. What can I control? Yeah. I can work real hard. I can get up early when I'm supposed to. I can get my gear in place so I'm not frantically looking for my left shoe.
Yeah.
Those are controllables.
Yeah.
But once I hit the mat, it's or the ball or the whatever diamond, that's uncontrollable. And if you're worried about outcome, you're already toast. Mm-hmm. You're useless. Same with life. What do we have faith in God?
Yeah.
In a very scary, dangerous, ugly world. But we know the end. We know the last chapter. We know we have a Father that cares for us, the Holy Spirit to empower us. It's all good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think if you could find the diamond, the treasures of darkness, the sense of abandonment where your kid just lets go, it seems, let go and let God.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Those kids are dangerous.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much, Jared. Thanks for sitting with us, sharing with us. And
I got a lot of takeaways.
I'm
I'm in the midst of coaching / parenting. I tell my kid all the time too, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing as fathering. I don't know what I'm doing as coaching. And so I think like just part of it is just, even for the kids to just let go. I think there's some wisdom in there for coaches and fathers to just let
both parties should probably let go and let God, if you will.
Right?
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We pray about this episode. God, thank you for this opportunity to hang out and to talk and to share and to chat and to learn and to discover and to kind of put on the ear hustle. And we ask that you would use our conversation today just to even continue to mature and form our hearts as parents and as a grandfather, and that this might be used to help and encourage a more healthier relationship between a father and their child in the area of sport. Thank you for the space and opportunity. Please go forward and use it. Amen.
Yesterday is over and the future has come.